The C&M Seeds Wheat School is brought to you by Bayer Crop Science. Dana, this year, as we look back on the 010 crop year, in terms of marketing, what are some of the things we learned?
Well, with the benefits of 2020 hindsight, there's a few things I think you can take away from this year's crop. The first, I think back to last September when Ontario farmers, September 2009, when farmers were planting their winter wheat or making decisions as to how they were going to do their crop rotation. There was at the time no price signal in particular drawing people to wheat, and in fact there was a lot of murmuring that corn by far looked the most attractive. And so the takeaway lesson is that you have to stick as a producer with your long-term rotation that makes sense agronomically, because it's impossible for anybody without a crystal ball to foresee how the markets will evolve. So if you look at this last crop year, by mid-June, it looked like we were going to have a massive surplus of worldwide wheat, and that prices would stay depressed for the foreseeable future. And then you have the flooding in Western Canada and the difficult planting conditions, and then we started to learn more and more of the 140-year drought in Russia and the crop difficulties they have over there. So we've since in July of 2010 had the largest percentage increase in wheat prices since 1959. But I don't think anybody could have anticipated that last fall when you were planting the crop. So the first lesson was stick with your rotation. Anything
in terms of agronomics?
With agronomics, with this profound rally in wheat, what we're seeing is that the true demand, of course, is for milling wheat and high quality wheat. So there's a twofold thing. We believe here that it always makes sense to use best practices for agronomics to maximize your yield and quality. But in a year like this is when one mistake to have 10 bushels less yield or to be downgraded into feed quality would have been a devastating price effects. So it reinforced the importance of doing that year over year.
Anything else?
From a marketing perspective, again, well, with volatile markets like this, it re-stresses the importance of incremental selling, not making, we often say around here, it's better to be a little bit correct than 100% wrong. It's widely perceived in the Ontario trade that as much as 2/3 of the winter wheat crop was sold with futures prices fully $2 a bushel below where they ultimately went to. So it's not that those sales, which were undoubtedly profitable, were necessarily quote-unquote wrong sales, but we're not even done harvest yet, and there's a lot of crop year to go. So it just re-stresses the importance of incremental selling throughout the year, in case there might be more price-positive news coming down the pipe as the year progresses.
So, those in terms of incremental selling and having a rotational plan, those things are quite commonly known. So they're commonly known, but we're still not doing them. And there's probably a lot of years we could look back and we could say, geez, we should have done that, right? So why are more guys not doing it?
It's a great question, and but it's probably not happening. What I would perceive is because there's no. If there was a marketing plan, a written marketing plan, there's a much higher chance that plan would actually be executed. Whereas if you are like 90% of people and your marketing plan is shooting from the hip and selling when your neighbor does or when you need to make a tractor payment, then that's going to be your marketing plan.
Yeah, like I've heard data that only 2% of people sell at the top of the market, and that's whether it's investments or it's selling your crop. So if only 2% ever sell at the high, why are we always trying to do it?
Yeah, it's those 2% are liars and madmen. They often say are selling at the high, and the goal shouldn't be. No marketing plan should be to sell at the high, but a reasonable objective would be to sell in the top third. And so it's a matter of setting reasonable objectives and then a strategy to maximize your return as a producer, but also minimize your risk at the same time. So.
Do you ever? I've heard different people say Don't necessarily, that's great that your neighbor's selling. Maybe this is a price that he needs, right? Your price that you need in order to make your objective, your returns that you need on your farm, maybe if 50 cents higher.
Absolutely.
Do you think it's important that farmers pay attention to their costs and the price that they need for their own farm?
That's the first step of any good marketing plan, is understand your cost of production and what you need to sell this crop at a profit. And then overlay that with your understanding of the prospects for that crop. Are they getting better? Are they getting worse? And what is a reasonable expectation? There are some years in farming where you do need home run returns to pay for the years where there are mediocre, basically cost of production returns. So it's important not to leave too much of that on the table. So that's all part of a good marketing plan.
Dana, thanks a lot for joining us today.
Thank you.